Okay, sixth grade, our objective today, now that we've finished up our word problem group assignment, is to solve multi-step equations. Your book calls it to solve equations having like terms and parentheses. I prefer to call it a multi-step equation because that's what the algebra book calls it. This is where you start to see the big shift and turn. It starts to get much more difficult. More fractions, more steps, longer process, okay? So we're going to start off with a word problem. Since we've been doing word problems, we're going to start off with example 1. Holly? Can you come see me at the beginning of 5th period and we'll talk? Okay, I'll be in Mrs. Warnock's room. All right, so here's the word problem. It says your school's basketball team is playing in the championship game. For the game, the cheerleaders would like to buy a banner that costs $47. Not sure why they want a banner that is that expensive. They also want to buy small items to give to their students in the stands. Pom-poms cost $5.20 each. Noisemakers, those are fun, cost 80 cents each. And the cheerleaders have a total budget of $377 for the game. We need to set up an equation, and it so happens to be a multi-step equation. Very convenient, huh? To lead into this lesson. So, what is X going to represent in this problem? Adam? Good. The number of each item that they can purchase. So put down on your paper, in your note packet, X is the number of each item that they can purchase. All right. What is the total amount in this word problem? So we're given a total. Justin, what is the total? Good. This is their total budget. So I like to keep it equal to the total. Okay, and I typically will keep that on the right-hand side, especially in this one. All right, what goes on the left-hand side of the equation? Annalise, what do you think? Okay, what else? Okay, what else? Good job. Okay, so here's what goes on the left-hand side. I kept the x's first and then the constant after that. It does not have to be exactly like that. I just think it's easier when you start combining like terms. This is a multi-step equation because you have to combine like terms first and then solve for x. Charles, next step. Or go ahead, you have a question. Yep, you can do it like that way. Yes, that's correct. Good. So we get 6x or $6 x plus 47 equals 377. Sorry, writing too many numbers today. Okay. What kind of equation is this? What kind of equation is that, Matt? Now we have a two-step equation. Alex, what's the first step we need to do here to solve this? Good. So minus 47 on both sides. What's our next step going to look like? What are we left with? Annalise? Good, equals 330. We then need to divide both sides by 6. How many of each item can they purchase? Oh, geez, hold on. Let me get the phone first. Hold that thought, Doug. Hello? Hi. I don't know yet. It depends on how class goes. So I can let you know after third period, or you can call me or see me. I won't. It just depends because we have a couple things to do before that. So sometimes we shorten it. Sometimes we just say don't make it homework. Okay? All right. Bye. Sorry. Okay, Doug. How many of each item can they purchase? Good job. X is equal to 55 items. And that means the noisemakers and the pom-poms. Annalise. So 55 is X. Okay, it's the number of each item. Sean. So here's a perfect example of a word problem that uses a multi-step equation. We are now going to solve them. Doug, is there a question on this? Okay. Annalise? Well, it depends how you look at it. If you plug it into this part, then it's combined. But if you plug in it up here, then it's of each item. Either one that you want. I always say of each item. Okay? All right, let's solve some. Okay, letter A. We're going to start off with the easy ones, and we're going to go to the harder ones. Okay, on a multi-step equation, the very first thing we need to do is combine like terms. So I'm going to put a 1 in front of this x because I know by now you guys and girls all know that's a 1, but I'm still going to put it there. Let's circle the like terms, which is 9x and 1x. And let's combine them. 9x plus 1x is 10x. Rewrite the minus 7 equals 13. Jeremy, how do we get the 7 to the other side? Good. Add 7 to both sides. So we have 10x equals 20. Divide by 10. Matt, what's the answer? Awesome. All right, so there's a very, very basic example of a multi-step equation. Questions on that one? Charles? Yep. Yeah, I'm going to give you guys some long ones. Yep, just not yet. Okay, letter B. Letter B. What is the first thing that you think needs to be done? Alyssa? Awesome. Alyssa, if we're distributing -7, what happens to 4x? Awesome. It gets dropped down. Please remember whatever is right in front of the parentheses is what gets distributed. Okay? What's before that gets dropped down. So drop down the 4x. Who can tell us after you distribute -7? Annalise, what are we left with? Okay. Good. Awesome. Briar, what's the next step? Oh, no. Combine like terms first. What else can I circle? Okay. Make sure you guys always combine like terms first, then start moving things. Charles, what's 4x minus 7x? Good. So -3x, rewrite the plus 14 equals 26. Emma H., what next? Good. Minus 14, minus 14. Our next step is -3x equals 12. Justin, after we divide by -3, what do we get for x? Good. If you guys notice, I am going to start skipping that last step because is it safe to say you all know to divide now? Okay. I'm going to start skipping that because you should, by now, that should just be a natural thing to do. So I'm going to start skipping it because when I do them, I always skip that step. Okay, you're doing it in your head, but you don't have to always write it. Jeremy. No, there just has to be parentheses and something in front of it. Well, if there's not something in front of it, that's what it's saying. So if there's nothing in front of it, that's what it's saying. You're just following O. Okay, if there's a number in front of it, which there will be in all these problems that we're doing today, you'd have to do distributive property first, then combine like terms. Okay. Annalise. Yep. All right. I want you to do letter C and D on your own. Don't go any further. Do C and D on your own, unless you all have already done it. Then just sit patiently. So C and D on your own. Charles, make sure you pick up your brown paper towel off the ground. Okay. Adam, what did you get for letter C? Good. Letter C, we get D equals 4. Briar, what did you get for letter D? Good. W equals 3. Any questions on either of those? Charles? They could be. Okay, I'm going to. Hold on. Any questions in C or D before we get to the harder ones? All right. Let's look at letter F first. So let's go to letter F first. And then I'll tell you why I went to this one first in a second. All right. So do not look at a fraction and think it's more difficult. Okay, I'm telling you that now because you haven't seen it yet. It's the exact same process. If you see a fraction in front, that means you have to distribute it. The first thing I want you to do is put a 1 underneath both terms inside parentheses. So I'll say that again. If you see a fraction in front, put a 1 underneath both terms that are inside parentheses. All we're doing now is multiplying across the top, across the bottom. It's very easy. Okay, Alyssa, what's 3 times Z? Good. Justin, what's 4 times 1? Good. Emma M, what's 3 times -6? Good. -18. Annalise, what's 4 times 1? Good. Equals 12. So the distributing part, not too bad. Put a 1 on the bottom, multiply across the top, across the bottom. Give me a head nod. Are you with me? Okay. Before we add -18/4 to both sides, what would be a very good strategy to do if you don't have a calculator or if you just prefer mental math? Sean. You could, but I want something else. You could do that. Emma H. Go ahead. Hold on. What's that called? What's that called? You just explained it. Awesome. Finding a, these are the C. Do you remember it? Okay, Briar? Yay! Wow, I am very impressed. Okay, at this point, just like Emma H explained, she just forgot the word. Very good. Briar, great job remembering it. If you change the 12 to be 48 over 4, because the common denominator is 4, and you know 48 divided by 4 is 12, so you're not changing the value. We're making it a common denominator so that when we add 18/4 to both sides, it's easier to add it without changing it to a decimal. So in other words, leave it as a fraction. You'll save yourself a headache. Okay, so you're changing it to be, it's really 12 over 1. We know 1 times 4 is 4, and we know 12 times 4 is 48. Okay? So now, well, we're not done yet. All we did right now is change the 12 to be 48 over 4. So hold on before you guys tell me the next step. Does everyone understand how to change 12 to 48 over 4? Give me a head nod. Okay. And now, here's what Emma M's getting a little ahead of us. Now we need to take 18/4 and add it to both sides. Who can tell me, because I want to make sure you know how to add fractions still, what does the next step look like? Adam, what do you think?
3z over 4.
Okay. Equals 66/4. Can you explain to me how you added the fraction, or explain to everyone how you added the fraction?
I added 18
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, perfect. You're perfect. Okay, when you're adding fractions, do not add the denominator. All right, now a couple days ago I showed you how to do this. There's 2 ways to do this. So most of you liked the one way, but Annalise, what's the next step? Good job. Good. Good. To multiply by the inverse or reciprocal, it cancels on this side because 12 divided by 12 is 1. Are you guys okay if I cross simplify? Okay, if you don't like to cross simplify, multiply across the top, across the bottom, but this is not a fun number to do that with. If we cross simplify, 4 goes into 4 one time, 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 66 22 times. So I think it's easier on this one to cross simplify. Now we just multiply across the top, across the bottom. In this mess of all these numbers, what's the answer? Sean? Good. What's a way to check our answer? Charles? Okay, hold on a second. Tell me first how to check. How do you check? Good. If you want to check, go back to the original problem, plug 22 in. As long as you get that it equals 12, you're good to go. Okay, Charles, what's your method? You're right. That's basically what we did. We did remove it. We just removed it correctly by crossing it off by multiplying it. But it's what you just said is the exact same thing. You just need to know, make sure you know the reason behind it, the math behind it. Okay? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs down on that kind of problem. You guys seem like it's not too bad. Jeremy, it's thumb, not hand. Thank you. All right, let's try one more like that. Okay, let's go back to letter E. Do you guys want to try this one on your own? Okay, one thing I need to tell you though. See the negative that's in the middle? I'm going to cross it off. Where do you think I'm going to tell you to put it? Justin? Good. Put it with the 4. Put a 1 underneath the 4A and the 1. So good. I'll give you a couple minutes. See if you can do that one on your own. Maybe. Is that your answer? No? Try that again. Donatus, I'd prefer that you not change it to decimals. Keep it as a fraction. Like you didn't, Donatus, put your head up. You didn't follow me on this one. I don't want you to do decimals. Why didn't you do it as we did it in class? Donatus. Huh? Fractions. Do you want me to go back to the other one so you can see it? Subtract 4/5 from both sides, yep. Is that a 140 right there? Okay. On this one, your answer will be a decimal or a fraction depending on how you keep it. Oh, jeez. You got to be a little neater. You're all over the place here with your work. You're going to get confused. Yep. You're going to change it to something over 5. And put a 1 on the bottom. Multiply the top and bottom by 5. That's all you need to do. Take about another minute, and then we'll go through it together. Yes, you can. It should be 4 minus 4/5. Why'd you flip that? That's why. Okay, just time out. Okay, whenever we're going to finish up the step you're on, because you guys are asking the same questions, so I just want to go over this all together. First step, distribute. So we have negative 16a over 5 plus 4/5 equals 28. So make sure your first step is exactly like mine. Okay, now 28, we need to change it so it has a common denominator of 5. So I'm going to put a 1 on the bottom. To find the common denominator of 5, all you're doing is multiplying the top and bottom by 5. So we get 140 over 5. So let me pause there. Is everyone clear? Donatus, are you with me? Donatus, I need a yes or no. Are you with me? Okay. Everyone make sure you have a 140 over 5 here for the common denominator. Annalise. Okay, well, we're not done yet. That's what we need to do next. So the next step, subtract 4/5 from both sides. Oh, I gotcha. You don't forget a negative times a negative is a positive. I'm sorry, I thought you meant the next step. Okay, so the next step is subtract 4/5 from both sides. So we have negative 16a over 5 equals 136 over 5. You okay? Okay. Is everyone okay? I see some ohs or some confused looks. Alyssa? No? Okay, just making sure. Anyone have questions yet? Okay, Sean, now what do we do? Good job. And what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. These get crossed off. We're left with A equals, let's cross simplify. Who can explain the cross simplify method to me here? Emma H?
Well, because 5 goes into 5 once.
Okay, then what? Okay. Okay. So what really goes into both of these numbers? If you want to keep it as a fraction. 16 does not evenly go into both of them. What does evenly go into both of them? Justin? Good, 8. So Justin, tell me what we're changing these numbers to. Okay, so 8 goes into negative 16. I said negative 2 times. I would say keep that negative there. And then this one is 17 because 136 divided by 8 is 17. So I'm okay if you kept your answer as negative 17 over 2 or negative 8.5. I prefer that you get into the habit of keeping them as a fraction or mixed number as opposed to a decimal. I do not want you to solve these by changing them to decimals because if there's a repeating decimal and you're rounding it, it gets extremely confusing. So I prefer that you keep them as fractions. It's going to be the same process in algebra, geometry, algebra 2, etc. Annalise. It's not a negative 5. We put the negative with the 16. Yeah, but that doesn't mean both numbers are negative. If both numbers are negative, that means the fraction's positive. Remember what I say at the beginning. If a whole fraction's negative, we cross it off, we put it with one of the numbers. I put it with the 4 to make it easier. That does not mean both numbers are negative. No. Right, because I kept it with the 4, which turned into the 16. Okay, so the 5s are both positive at this point. Okay, Adam? That's a whole other discussion. Any other questions on this problem? All right, I need you to open up your homework packet and take out your notebook or a piece of paper to practice 3.2. You obviously, I want you to try some, but you don't need to do this. So open up your homework packet to 3.2, and you need a notebook or a piece of paper. Okay, so the good news is we have time to work on this. The other good news is there are not any fractions in this homework. We're going to do that in class on Monday because I need to make sure you understand just the basic multi-step equations before I throw in a bunch of fractions. So, Adam, notebook or piece of paper needs to be out. Donatus, notebook or piece of paper. Briar, notebook or piece of paper. Okay, do not do this on the worksheet. You do not have enough room. I need you all to try your hardest to neatly show me your work in your notebook or on a piece of paper. Circle or underline your answer so it's easy for us to go over it on Monday. And if you have a question, it's easier for me to help you. All of your answers are integers. What does that mean? Alyssa, no decimals. All nice answers, okay? For this worksheet, Mondays is a different story. Okay? Use your notebook or a separate sheet of paper to show your work. You will get a 0 in your assignment if you do not use your notebook or another sheet of paper for all the problems. Okay? Not enough room on here. 1 through 19, that's the whole thing. Okay? If there's a negative in front of a parenthesis, what does that mean? If there's a negative in front of a parenthesis, Sean, what does that mean? Yep, and then what? You put a 1 there, but then what do you do with that negative 1 in front of the parenthesis? You distribute it. So don't forget about that. Emma H. No, you do whatever you need to do to remember that that's a negative that you're distributing to the inside of the parentheses. Matt. Yeah. Yep. After you do your work in your notebook or on loose leaf, Adam, we have 6 minutes, so you're going to get started. Okay? You can put your answer back on here if you want. Okay? I want you to get started today because I want to make sure everyone's okay.